They did things extraordinary. Men of Issachar, the sons of Issachar, they are men, the Bible makes us understand that they had an understanding of time. Not only that, they had an understanding and they were in the position to give commandment, and they obeyed their commandment. You have the understanding of you. You find yourself anywhere. Have this understanding that you are not just there, you are there for a purpose. The men of understanding, the generation of David, are the generation of purpose. Generation of purpose. Generation to fulfill purpose in life. Something happened many years ago. Papa was talking about when he was coming up in Christ. And life was so strong, so terrible, and he refused to give up, either to complain. He said he was from one place to the other. He shared the story with us several times without numbers about how he sold bread, how he did conductor, so many things. And he was doing that. He find out that he had an understanding for him to be doing that job. He now make mention of where a place I wanted to rent a house. And he find himself in a place in the night. They took him to a house in the night. The mud house, I wanted to rent a room. And he find out that place is where masquerades used to come out. In the night when he went there, he didn't see the masquerade that they draw on the wall. He paid the money in the evening. The next day, he was going there to go and check where he paid the house to take it. Now saw masquerade. What is happening here? Is it the place I came yesterday? They said that is the place, masquerade. If it's someone that is afraid, he will just leave his money there, even if they will not return the money back. But he had an understanding for me to come at night, not to see this place like this. Because if he has seen it in the daytime, it's possible for him not to pay and not to end up in that place. But for him to pay, he said, no, I didn't make he was looking at it. Did I make a mistake? No, I can never make the mistake. There is a purpose for me not to come in the night to pay for this place. No, now when I came in the morning, I saw this, but there is a purpose for me not to see this very thing that time when I came yesterday. But for this purpose, I will not worry, bother myself. I will live in this place and I will make sure that I fulfill that purpose. There is an understanding in him that he didn't make a mistake. So every man that is created by God, anytime you did something and maybe you are blaming yourself or regretting inside of you that you have made a mistake, there is nothing good. Immediately that thing is telling you, the devil is telling you have made a mistake. Tell the devil, this is not a mistake because our God can never make a mistake. Once your spirit is telling you what the devil always wants to do, he always wants to suppress you with you have made a mistake and he camp you one place. He will put handcuff in your hand unknowingly. He will put handcuff on your leg unknowingly. Then you are there blaming yourself, regretting, then you go nowhere because he's telling you you have made a mistake. That is the end of your life. When you had understanding, even for this mistake, there is a purpose for me to make a mistake. So that mistake, you have to look into it and to correct it. Stay there and look into the reason for you to make that mistake and you correct it immediately. Somebody find herself in the midst of enemy and he was captured in the midst of enemy. And the enemy were tormenting him with different torments. That you were going to die. And they were treating him the way they like. While they were doing that to him, in the first place, he was looking at why did God will allow the enemy to capture him in this particular place. They were tormenting him. And while they were doing that, every morning they would tell him, you need to leave this place to go and do something very difficult, very hard. They give him hard work to do, hard labor every morning. But they never knew that all this they were doing to him, they were giving him training. They were giving him training. While they were telling him to carry block that 5 people cannot carry with beating, he will force himself to carry on neutral ground, on normal ground, he cannot do it. But because of the torment, he will try to do it. He will do beyond, he will carry. The second day, they will tell him, they will add more to it. He was doing that every day, every day. This man was adding muscle. He was adding muscle, and they did not know he was doing that. So where they put him, anytime they finish, they will lead him back to that place. They will lock the place. Every morning they will take him, they will go take him on the field, beating him. Do this, do that. They were telling him to do that. But one day he came, this man, the way where they put him, he saw the place, at this place there is no way of escape for him in that place. But these people were doing this to him every day and night. But a day came, and the young man, they took him to that place, they always capture him in the night. And he looked at himself. They've been telling me they are adding to this block to carry every day. Now, at that time, this man has been carrying almost 25 blocks, not 5 again. And he looked at the building where the pillar and everything they put together, he calculated it. He calculated that he saw it as 24, and this man carried 25 on the field. He looked at it, he said, if I was able to carry 25, this pillar is 24. So I should be able to carry it. The enemy thought they were doing you wrong. And that day, they came as usual. Because they assigned giants to him to come and be beating him in case if he wants to escape. And when they came as usual, they opened. And remember, this is 25. So today they are going to add one to it. It's going to be 26. So for this reason, I should be able to do this. And the man, as they were coming closer to him to take him as usual. And they will chain him the way they chain Samson, left and right. And he calculated, he saw them coming closer again. And he remembered how he draw the pillar together, and he pulled the pillar down on the heads of his enemy. They call a wise man. How did it happen? This man, when they were taking him, they only used one tiny chain to chain him down to this place. He could not break the chain when he came into this place. But how did it happen that he was able to pull this pillar down with this big chain? And the wise man told them, he said, what you people are doing to him, every day you are training him to be strong. They said, you train him every day to be strong. Because he knows if he don't do this, they have to kill him. And he was stressing himself to be able to carry from 5 to 6 to 7 to till he become 25. That 25, look at what you people use to make this pillar to stand. Altogether is 25. So this guy is enough to pull the whole city down. Only him, because you have trained him to have that strength. And when the guys succeeded in that, those days, they normally use people that if you are not physically strong, they cannot make you a leader. You remember the story of Jephthah. Remember the story of Jephthah. He was able to conquer the enemy. And when he conquered the enemies, they said to him, come and be our leader. So those days, men of kings, people that they choose as kings, and people they choose as leader, they are not ordinary men. You cannot be ordinary and you want to lead. Now, even it's happening now. If you are ordinary, they cannot choose you as leader. God does not choose ordinary people. God chooses extraordinary people for his work. You might not see in him. You can see somebody very short in size. You can see somebody very tiny in size. But it's not what you are seeing. God knows that he is in that person and he is able to do what somebody that is big in size cannot do. God see what is in David and he will be able to rule Israel. That's why God chose him, even despite the fact he was very young at that time. The understanding that we need to have understanding in everything we do in life. The Bible talks about about the man that was studying the scripture. He said, did you understand what you are reading? He said, how do I understand? Because I need somebody to interpret for me. So in this case, if you read scripture, if Holy Spirit is not interpreting scripture to you, you are just reading it as if you are reading novel. So Bible, the book of God, this Bible is more than novel. It's beyond novel. Everything, the same color they used to print over is the same color, but what is inside of it? By the time you add understanding, so when you go to the government house, you know they have Bible and Quran there. They also read, but the difference between the church and that place, if you go to library, you also find Bible in the library as well. So it's not all about reading it, because the person that is interpreting that scripture to you, he had an understanding of what is written in that place, and he preached Rema. He brought out Rema from that same place you read, and it became power. If it is normal way they are reading it, so it's because the person interpreting it have the understanding of what is reading, and you got Rema from it, then you go home, you go and use it. Papa preached a message some months ago. He's talking about all things are possible. If it is normal, all things are possible. Everybody can say that. All things are possible, and you walk away. All things are possible. When you say all things are possible, because when you say all things are possible, and I look at it, all things, there is no exception. Not that social thing is not possible. Say all things are possible. And that understanding came into me, and I draw from the virtue of that Rema, and I understand that everything in life is possible. Understanding is what we need in life. If we had understanding of the time to move, when you are to move, when you are not moving at that time, you don't understand that this is the time for you to move. So that time will come and go. You know, our God is a God that is an everlasting God that cannot grow old. Our God is not God that counts years, that is going to say, oh, it's 1,000 years, he will soon die. He's not 300 years old that you see that he's growing, holding in age, or he's holding in faith. So if you still remain there, you leave it there. If you don't have the understanding you have to move, then it remains there. Time will go. Centuries upon centuries will go and come. God still remain who he is. Time. Bible makes mention of time. He said there is a time to live, time to die, time to laugh, time to cry. So when Bible was stating time for everything, so if you don't have understanding of that time, time is there at all time. Listen, time is there at all time. It's only understanding that you have that now let me move forward. Then you move forward, you meet to the empire of destiny. That is when you were able to hit the goal, because the understanding is there. Something is telling me to move, then you move and you were able to get it. If you don't move, that time will pass. It will still come. Generation. Our fathers, some of them, it's not that God did not create them to be great, because they lack understanding. God had created, they put the greatness in them. They don't have the understanding of what it is. So they were just looking at it that way. They were looking at this thing that way. I imagine why God did not choose Jesse as a king. Why God had to choose David under him. He said, go to the house of Jesse. He will have chosen, because these people have been crying for king many years. Before that day, he decided to choose Saul. When he chose Saul, Saul did not please God the way God wanted. It was not, and God said, okay, go to the house of Jesse. So then Jesse did not have that understanding, because Jesse was the same person that sent David to go to the wilderness to train his cattle. So if he had been doing the right thing with the cattle, God would have chosen him. After today, everything that you need in life, see, it does not cost anything. Simple thing, that simple thing, when it is missing, it's not complete. Papa used to say a word. He said, out of 100, when you say 100, when you remove one out of 100, it's become 99. He said that 99, the Bible makes a illustration in the book of Luke, chapter 8. It talks about the man which he gathered and he missed one out of his sheep. He left others and he went to go and look for that one to complete it. The reason is because if that one is missing, 1 out of 100 is 99, is not up to 100. So if you can complete that one, that simple thing that is just remaining, tell your neighbor, say it's just remaining simple thing, just small thing. To eat the goal in life, to make it in life, to get to where you want to go in life, it is not far again. See, it's by your side. See, the future is not far. Future is now. Tell somebody, say, the future is now. People are talking about future. I'm working towards the future. I'm expecting the future to speak. Don't expect future to speak. The future is now. Whatever you cannot lay the foundation now, you can't lay it any time or anywhere. It is now. What will become of you? So they should be seeing it in you now. The future is not later. It's now. Somebody rise on your feet.